Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Championship Sunday. Yes, it is the Owlet Championships, and I am here today with my co-commentator, Pulse. How you doing, Pulse?
I'm doing fantastic, Hodo. I hear that we got a stellar game lined up today for the grand playoffs.
We absolutely do. It is a matchup between MSXL, the #1 overall seed, and Stomp on LAN, the overall #2 seed, the champions of each the Snowy and the Strix division. Overall records of 21-3 and 20-4. These teams are hot and ready. So let's get to the player card. Let's go to the card show, and we're going to feature Stomp on LAN here first. So with an overall record of 20-4, Stomp on LAN were the champions of the Snowy division. They were absolutely fantastic in Stage 4, going 6-0, the only undefeated team in Stage 4. And we'd like to feature two of the players, actually. It would be their DPS players. The first player is Rydaris. So Rydaris, their main Genji DPS here, Pulse. He's been really good here, and I think he's going to be one to watch out for.
Of course, anytime you have a good Genji player, there's always something to be worried of. If you look at Shadowburn and for the Philadelphia Fusion, he was a really good example of how you can play Genji into especially with some of the more meta comps now, where you're seeing a lot of stuns, and you sort of play more of a little bit of a backline or a really hard flanker to bait out all the stuns and go in and assassinate targets that are low.
Yeah, and that's going to be very difficult here for sort of MSXL to deal with. Their second player that we want to feature is going to be Sensik. And Sensik here is a little bit more flexible for here. Their hit scan DPS. He is known for his Widow, which is absolutely fantastic here. So tell me, how does a Widow go into sort of a lineup here in the finals for WSOL?
Widow Genji is a really strong comp because for anyone that follows professional Overwatch, Widow Tracer was very similar. The difference between Tracer and Genji, though, is Genji has that verticality and can climb walls and get high ground. So it's a lot more universal than Widow Tracer. And Widow's very strong, of course, because she has that one-shot potential, which can go through most alts, like Transcendence, most support alts, and it has a really strong shutdown potential as long as you can keep landing those headshots.
Yeah, and that's going to be great here for WSL, but don't count out the rest of their team. Audit Decant is also a fantastic healer here for WSOL. So that's going to be our team preview here of WSOL. In the meantime here, their opponents, MSXL, have a great hype video. Let's check that out real quick.
Creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire.
Is going to be brought out from Commander Hui. Gets the triple kill. Santa Maria. What a play from Commander Hui.
Commander Hui throwing out a peek, and it's a triple kill.
See what happens here. Riptire. Santa Maria. What a play. Commander Hui again with a triple kill.
Their highest ranked player, their diamond rank, is their Mercy.
Oh, who is that?
So that's Flamia.
That's a girl. Flamia. Of course it is.
A few moments later.
Their Widow is making some good shots.
Yeah.
I thought Flamia was like the Widow, or sorry, the Mercy one trick as well. No, I guess not.
Bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart
Raponix, yeah, you know, we noted his play entirely throughout this match.
That's a 200 IQ play.
Raponix is going off on Widow, dumping in a ton of damage, getting headshot after headshot.
Yeah, they're turning it around now. They turned it around. Yeah, they're going to be able to take this.
And that's all on Raponix.
Bullies me for literally all game. I walk out of spawn. 5 seconds, Tracer's on me. I know I can't hit her that well. I'm trying, I'm working on it. But until then, I can't, like, I'm useless. It's not working. That's like literally it. And when that stupid cunt, Roadhog comes in and just like, walks up to us. Walks up, like doesn't even have a second thought about whether or not he's gonna get a kill. He knows he's gonna get a kill. He knows he's gonna hit a hook. He knows that he's gonna murder one of us. Like he's not scared.
All right, so there was your hype video here for Microsoft Excelsior. Little cute panda there at the very back. With regards to it, but this is a stacked and loaded team with DPS players, Repinix, Commander Hui, and Nyx, all to be wary on. But the player focus that we're going to be featuring today is Thick Daddy, the Roadhog former one trick, because now he starts playing a little bit of Diva. How are WSOL going to have to worry about a roaming Roadhog on the field, Pulse?
A Roadhog's a very interesting character because he's seen his ups and downs in play. And of course, right now he's probably at his weakest. So being able to play Roadhog in this meta of the game is astounding, especially with as much effectiveness as Thick Daddy has seen. So the really crazy thing about Thick Daddy, and I think what teams need to be wary of, is that hook percentage and the really solid ult usage of Whole Hog, because you don't see that in a lot of Roadhog players. You see a lot of Roadhog players sort of feeding ult percentage and battery. So in order to outplay this, Weed Stomp on Land really needs to take advantage of discords, purples, anything that naturally counters a hog to make sure that he can't get in these flanking positions and dismantle their team.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very difficult because teams have tried and teams have failed. So it is going to be hyped here between the top two teams here in Owlet. When we come back here, it will be WSOL and MSXL. Let's take a preview, though, of the starting lineups of the teams. It will be, I think, for MSXL, it looks like Carboy will be on the starting lineups. Mithra, Repinix, Loner, Delicious, and Commander Hui as we start Lijiang Tower. So that is your starting lineup here for MSXL. For Weed Stomp on LAN, it is Audit Decant, Sensic, Luna, Technician, Salty Dog, and Ryderis. So we do see the DPS lineup here for WSOL, and it will be the Pagoda here to start off on Lijiang Tower. How are they going to have to approach this, Pulse?
I really like Garden because this is a good Hammond map. So we see both teams starting with the Hammond, maybe switching off. But if either team can effectively use it, I think that's a really good indicator of who can win. If one of the teams aren't as effective on it, that's a really good indicator of which one's going to lose, of course. But on Gardens, Far's meta, of course, because it gives you this nice big cover in the middle. So you really want to play around a comp that can dive on the targets that Far's pumping damage into.
I see. And it looks like here with 7 seconds left to go, it looks like Delicious is actually going to be switching off of the Hammond. So we're not going to see any Hammond play here on Garden as we start off here. And it will be Repinix here in the air with Mithra. So there will be a pharmacy starting off here for Microsoft Excelsior. So they're going to be starting off with that. Commander Hui here in the Diva, so playing here as an off tank, not necessarily going to be starting on DPS, as Delicious here is just being surrounded. The rest of WSOL have decided to go right onto the point, so it's Technician and Salty Dog are sort of fighting on the point here. Loner takes out Auto Decant, and that is a huge kill here. Losing the Lucio right away is going to put them behind. Ryderis also goes down, so down 2 here, and MSXL having their way here with the WSOL. It looks like it's going to be a quick take here for Microsoft Excelsior.
That was a really effective use against the Goats comp. We see We Stomp on LAN come out and they're just running Goats, but they also have that Sombra there, which takes away a lot of the defensive potential from a Zarya in this comp. And the Sombra wasn't able to really get a hack target for the Goats to collapse on. Instead, Repinex was just pumping damage into them the whole time, and they got that early pick because of it.
Yeah, and it looks like here the rest of WSOL are going under shield here. They're going to try to avoid the Pharah play that's coming through. Delicious actually comes on in, gets charged, and doesn't die though. He actually stays up. Loner actually ends up taking out Salty Dog. Repinex does take out Ryderis here, so trades going back and forth between the teams as the fight here now is actually on the backside of the point, but MSXL decides they just want to end the fight right here and now as all of WSOL gets taken down here at 40%. They're having some issues here getting on the point.
And we see pretty much a full team switch, the team style switch rather, coming in from Weed Stomp on LAN. They really wanted to make use of that EMP and the hack, but they just weren't seeing it. So they have to switch off to the Widow and the Zenyatta instead of having a full normal Goats comp. They're having trouble collapsing onto targets and making sure they got into fights without eating a lot of damage from the Pharah. So hopefully this new organization of their team will see some more effectiveness.
Yeah, Sensik will probably stay back, make sure if the Pharah gets into play. And there you go, Sensik takes out Mithra, so down goes the healer for MSXL, excuse me, and Sensik takes out Loner too. The switch has been effective here, as now the kills are coming through. Commander Hui is the last person here left on point for MSXL. He's going to get backed off. They can't kill him fast enough. They're going to switch it up, but they've already given up about 83% here. They're going to need to basically hold this for the rest of the time and not let MSXL come back.
Of course. I expect the Pharah to switch off here. They might keep it for one more barrage to see if they can retake, but it's very hard for a Pharah to attack at this point just because of how close it is. If they play on point and play around cover, they're going to give Repinex a hard time really doing anything here. So if they can play with the Pharah damage and make sure their tanks get in to finish off targets, they still have a shot.
Yeah, here comes the engage here. They're going to be coming in straight up. They're going to be on the lookout for Sensik. He's going to be like hunting the people in the air, but the monkey actually is now ulting on point as Delicious tries to get anybody out. Repinex actually gets Sensik off with a boop. So therefore, no Sensik to deal with the Pharah in the air as Repinex here ults on Auto Decant. A bomb here onto the point doesn't really get anybody as Repinex is going ham. He's finally taking out everyone here with that Pharah. Nothing to sort of counter him out. It's going to be a quick take here for MSXL. WSOL here got 51% of the point. They need to win this next fight in order to stay in it. But Sensik goes down to an orb from Carboy, and they're just going to need to get onto the point and fight here as their percentage is going to tick down 95, 96. Can they get back? Yes, they can. They're going to be fighting here on the point. Luna actually brings Sensik back up, and the fight here is on the point. WSOL needs to win this. He gets a kill. Loner goes down. So Salty Dog takes out Mithra. This is going the way of WSOL. They're getting the kills they need. They're going to be fighting here on point. MSXL have no answer. Repinex falls. Ryderis actually finishes off Delicious, and this is a take for WSOL. They saved their bacon here for a short time.
We also see though that they're completely out of ult. So if MSXL gets really aggressive here and maybe gets a good Deadeye or a good Diva Bomb, this could be a very quick end for them. So they need to make sure that they don't let Microsoft Excelsior get these aggressive ults or get these first picks. If they do, then it sort of means end of round for this match.
Yeah, and it looks like here Repinex is going to have to be very, very careful of Sensik here. He's got to be super careful. He was able to take him down last time first, which is what won them the fight before it. Now a Coalescence here comes out here for MSXL. They're trying to see if they can sort of keep up everybody on their side as WSOL have just sort of settled in onto the point. Diva Bomb gets sent in, gets Luna, but a counter Diva Bomb takes out Commander Hui too. Sensik takes out Carboy. This fight is going pretty evenly here as it's sort of like a brawl here right onto the point. Technician here trying to deal with Sensik onto the point. He gets demeched as as it looks like here, it's going to be the remnants of WSOL here, reft on the point. Oh, just back in time, as Delicious actually comes back in time, takes out Sensik, takes out Technician. They're going to try to eliminate all the remaining members of WSOL. Luna coming in for a crazy res. She gets it off on Salty Dog. Salty Dog actually is able to ult and now stall a little longer and wait for reinforcement to come in, but Repetix says no! Here, he's going to be ulting onto the point, and now it looks like a transcendence here from Audit to Camp, trying to even solid, holding out even longer. The fight keeps going. Repetix finally takes out Audit to Camp here, and now it looks like the point will switch. No, not yet. There's still one more staller here on the point. No, they finally turned it over, but they get back onto the point. Overtime starts ticking down, but their WSOL team is starting to stream back in onto the point, but all the kills are going to MSXL, and they are going to do it a lot closer than you think it was going to be, but a 100-99 win here for MSXL. They made it look hard there on that point.
They definitely put up a fight. They were coming in with, really when that big Diva Bomb trade came in, that's what allowed that whole brawl at the end to happen. They traded the Diva and they traded the Mercy. And whenever that happens, and it's that high percentage, it's sort of anyone's game. They really opened it up for both teams. It was sort of a 2v2 on point and then a couple people fighting off point. So it opened up for some really exciting play at the end. But I think when Delicious came back and got the 2 kills as Winston, the victory was sealed for MSXL.
So MVP goes to Delicious there on that final point. And now we're going to a map that it will be a little bit more ground and pound here, as Delicious going to the Reinhardt. Here, no Winstoning, and Salty Dog does the same here, and they're fighting right here in the entranceway. Looks like WSOL has to sort of back off here. They were unable to get to the point, but a big grenade here is able to sort of turn everybody purple, but the kills are going the way of MSXL until Salty Dog says no. He takes out Delicious and Mithra, but he gets eliminated by Loner here as the fight continues, as Technician on that Diva is trying to eliminate Carboy, who's getting Technician getting pocketed here, and now it looks like WSOL ends up winning the fight, as it looks like they're able to sort of try to get Commander Hui out of mech. There's nobody on the point actually capping it. Now it looks like Salty Dog and Audit Kant are finally back. Commander Hui gets sort of stalled out there in the mech, and WSOL take the point first.
That was an interesting fight. They could have been able to cap it a couple seconds earlier had the Mercy stayed on, but of course you want to make sure your teams don't die. So I totally understand that decision. We see MSXL running more goats, but we also see Stomp on LAN running a lot more anti-goats.
And a Diva Bomb gets sent in, and like, yes, you're running anti-goats here, and Salty Dog here with a big charge onto Commander Hui tries to get him out of the fight. He actually gets Carboy out with a Fire Strike, and now it looks like MSXL has to back off.
Yeah, right now they're having a lot of trouble dealing with the Pharah. It looks like just the Pharah's pumping in damage, and they're really not sort of prepared to send the Diva up at her to take her out, or Diva plus Zarya bubble. So they really need to make sure that they get Sensik out of the air so that they can't keep taking all this damage, and especially with the Ana nades where they can't heal up, that's really the death sentence for them here.
Yeah, and a rally actually was starting this fight here from looks like from MSXL, but a Diva Bomb actually gets placed behind the wall, so nobody's actually going to be affected by that. Ryderis got actually rezzed here by Luna, so they're going to even up the fight a little bit, and a Graviton comes out as Sensik is ulting right into it. He does take out Delicious and Commander Hui's mech, and WSOL here looking pretty dominant here on Command Center, as Repinix has to back off. He gets Fire Strike to the face, and this has all been WSOL, Pulse.
Yeah, this map we've seen a lot more resurgence with this comp from WSOL. They came in running the triple, which is the Goats comp on the first map, and they weren't looking so strong with it. But now when they're running sort of the antithesis to that, the counter Goats, they're looking a lot better, and we don't really see MSXL have an answer to it yet.
Yeah, and it looks like here, as they're going to come in, they're going to get to 99 here before this engage is actually over. So Delicious and Commander Hui here trying to sort of protect each other as they're coming into the point. Repinix has gone to the Pharah here, but he gets immediately deleted by Technician, and a purple grenade here into the back as Carboy is not going to be able to sort of engage. Technician and Ryderis actually getting a kill on Mithra. Coalescence comes out here as Commander Hui takes out Technician, and now the kills are coming in for MSXL. They're able to get it, but Delicious is super low. He was grenaded. There was just nothing that they could do. Luna looks like she's being, she got nanoed here by accident. So you've got a nanoed Valking Mercy here onto the point as Repinix, who is purple, has got to be careful here onto the point as Salty Dog just trying to stall it out. Big Earth Shatter here catches Mithra. but unable to kill anybody with that Earth Shatter, as it looks like WSOL are waiting for reinforcements to come in. Luna here is staying alive, and Salty Dog takes out Loner before he was able to ult, so big kills here, but Salty Dog here onto the point, just getting pocketed. They're not able to clear him off. Technician sends the bomb too far in, not going to be able to get anybody with that, but great grenade here by the Ana is going to catch a lot of MSXL. Salty Dog actually is back with the res. Repenix is going to try to stay alive here as the hammer is getting swung away. Commander Hui and Repenix are only the people left onto the point. Commander Hui is getting demeched, and now it's a nanoed Reinhardt here trying to sort of take out what's left of WSOL. Firestrike comes in, but Salty Dog, they get off the point! WSOL get off the, MSXL get off the point for just long enough so that it reset, and now it is 1-1. Weed Stomp on LAN looking so dominant there on Command Center.
Audit Decant in the back was just completely uncontested as the Audit, getting perfect nade after nade to make sure that MSXL couldn't really heal up. They were just the whole time they were purple, and Yana was just getting free shots on her own tanks and the other team's enemy line. And because of that, they just were able to grind out every single fight in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a reason why Rijay Hong for a long, long time was considered one of the best supports. It's like grenade placement is so huge in this meta right now, and if you're able to place those in a place where nobody can actually get healed, it is such advantageous for your team that it's just going to be really, really difficult for you to win a fight here. As now it looks like WSOL have immediately gone straight to the point here, and they're going to want to fight on the point. They get Delicious to come on with them, but Delicious is actually surrounded by like 6 people, so he's got to be super careful. So as he charges in, Loner, though, does finish off Salty Dog, so they lose the main tanks here for WSOL, as Technician got demeched also. And a charge comes in here as Delicious finishes off Rydaris, and it looks like MSXL here getting a little bit of revenge here on Night Market as they capture the point.
WSL really wasn't looking as together that fight. They were sort of spread out, and MSXL forced an early translocate from Sensic in order to make sure that it was a 5v6 that whole first 10-15 seconds of the fight, which allowed them really to sort of easily get point control and kill all the staggers and people that were out front.
And speaking of staggering, Audit Decant actually goes down, and that they're going to have to wait on that. Losing their Lucio there is going to be big. They also lose Luna there in this fight. This fight is just not started the way that WSOL wants. Technician here is going to be... Oh, he actually ends up taking out Loner, but then gets Fire Strike to the face here, so they're going to have to sort of burn a res here on Loner on the defense here, as WSOL here have to wait for their supports to come back up.
That's a perfectly fine res, though. Like, they were still completely pushed up to the enemy team's front line, and there's really nothing they could do to even stop it. So having a perfectly safe res just to ensure that there's always a 6v6 is worth it.
And Repenix here gets an ult here and actually takes out Rydaris with it. And that's going to stall them up a little longer too, but it looks like here they're able to burn their res and get Rydaris up. But Sensic goes down, and it's just gone all wrong here. And Lunar with a huge 3K! Oh, baby, what a kill! And it looks like it's a full team kill here for Microsoft Excelsior. They send WSL back to the showers with that one.
I believe the correct phrasing was, oh baby, a triple. Because as soon as the Blade and as soon as the Valkyrie came out, Loner just had a free Deadeye. Anytime you Deadeye, it forces the Genji to reflect, and it also forces any extra sort of ballsies mercies to rethink how they control their Valkyrie. But unfortunately, Mithra was already up in the sky, and Rydaris was already trying to go in and get the big 6K he was hoping for with that Blade.
Well, it looks like Rydaris got immediately eliminated by Loner, but Loner got deleted there by Sensic when the res comes out. Now they're going to be playing 6v5 here, so they're going to have a really good chance. EMP now comes out here for WSOL as they're trying to take down what's left of MXXL, but the ult here from Repenix takes down 2, and now a bomb comes in, finishes off Delicious, but I don't know if they're going to be able to win this fight. Technician here on the point, trying to eliminate what he can here. He's trying to focus on the Repenix here, but they get him down. Mithra and Repenix both go down here as Loner gets taken out by Technician 2. WSOL are actually going to get this point here. They finish off MSXL, and there is life still here on Lijiang for WSOL.
There's life, but it's pretty tenacious at best right now. They used a lot of their ults, and the only one that they'll really have up for the next fight, at least at the beginning, is Valkyrie. So if they can do something to shut down Luna, then this should be a very easy fight for Delicious, considering they have the Shatter, they have the High Noon, and the Coalescence.
And speaking of that shatter comes out. Technician is in the middle of no man's land and gets demech here. As another high noon comes out here from Loner. It doesn't look like he's sort of popped it off yet. He finally finishes off Ryderis, who was poking. So down he goes. Now Luna has popped that Valkyrie, trying to keep the rest of her team alive. She's been actually forced off of the point. Audit Can't gets deleted onto the point. And now MSXL are going to take it. It looks like Sensik here is going to try to contest on point. They know where he is. He's going to get deleted, and I think that's going to do it. MSXL might. Yes, they do. They get first blood here. First map in this best of 7 goes to MSXL.
That was really a map of counter picks. Each team came out to each map with a specific strategy in mind, and the team that had the dominant strategy the first fight really sort of stuck it out and was able to clean up because of it. Switches were a little slow, but it's really hard to do that on COF maps where you have sort of only a couple chances to fix things that go wrong, because you still want to be able to build up ults and use what you've been practicing when you can. But if things go wrong, generally you're down by 70 or 80% even by the time you can flip it if you have to make large comp switches.
Yeah, and it's going to be super, super difficult here. So it was a battle. It went all 3, and 100 to 0s both on command center and on looks like it was on night market. So looks like we're going to be coming in for some switches here. There's going to be some switches here for both teams. Thick Daddy finally was able to join the match. So just to give you a heads up, WSOL's bench here consists only of the new elite. So WSOL's lineup here really is the 6 players that you see here, that you saw play: Audit Decant, Sensik, Luna XL, Technician, Salty Dog, and Rydaris. And the only substitute that they had is new elite. MSXL though is running a 9-man roster with Surfy, Thick Daddy, and Nyx here on the bench. So they do have a little bit more flexibility, Pulse, going into the next map.
Yeah, so we see the next map coming up is King's Row. And King's Row is a mixed bag. You can run a lot of strategies on it, and that's why people always like, for a majority of the player base, they love running King's Row, and it's because pretty much anything's viable. You can run dive, you can run trip tank, you can run quad tank, you can even run penta tank, which is one of my favorite strategies for it.
Yeah.
But due to the nature and the layout of the map, pretty much anything is viable on it. So it really gives you a chance to sort of showcase your best players and really go ham, sort of, to see what you can do with it.
Oh, yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what both teams come out with. So now it is MXXL up 1-0 on WSOL in this best of 7. When we come back, it will be King's Row here. Stay tuned for this great Owlet final between MSXL and WSOL. Alrighty, folks. Welcome to Kings Row. And I just wanted to mention that after the match is a post-game show hosted by Ad and Britboy. It is the Owlet final post-game show. It will be immediately following this match between MSXL and WSOL. And for those in chat, I hope you've been clipping some of the clips. We need your help. We want to get highlights here for the post-game show. If you haven't, please clip the any of the hype scenes that you have been seeing and post them into the finals clips Discord. There is a channel specifically for you to place clips in for the post-game show. If there's anything that you want to replay on, a little bit of analysis of with regards to specific plays, go ahead and post your clips there, and we will address it here in the post-game show, hosted by Ad and Britboy. Just remember, it'll be right after this show. So now, 30 seconds to prepare your defenses. We are on Kings Row. Pulse, you said you can run anything here. We did have a sub for MSXL. Who would that be?
That is, of course, who we talked about before the game, Thick Daddy, the big hog boy himself. And Kings Row was always one of Hog's favorite maps because of how flat it is, how interesting it is to flank around. There are lots of cover, a lot of places a Hog can hide, sort of get interesting flank hooks, and everything of that sort. The real thing to watch out for on this attack, though, is Audit Decant and Rydaris, because a Nanoblade is a very easy win condition for a fight, so anytime that's up, it should be more or less a free win for free teamfight win for Lead Stomp on LAN.
Yeah, so WSOL coming in immediately, and they're going in with a Reinhardt Zarya here to try to see if they can break this. Rydaris actually hanging on top of the hotel, just trying to get some poke here with the Genji, and he's trying to sort of see if he can get an opening here. Looks like MSXL are sort of just hanging back, just making WSOL want to sort of come to them, so they have to be super careful. Repinix here is going to be actually hanging behind the hotel and just shooting rockets here, sort of spamming in. Thick Daddy goes for the hook on Rydaris, does not get it. So we do get the first hook miss for Rydaris. For Thick Daddy here, but Rydaris is actually being very, very aggressive here. But no, there's the hook on Salty Dog, but Repinix actually finishes off Sensic, and Repinix now getting Audit Decant too, as Sensic gets rezzed, but it looks like kills going the way of MSXL here. They're finally starting to sort of impose their will here on WSOL, and they're finishing them off here on the point.
Yeah, coming into this next fight, we do have the Nanoblade coming up. Audit Decant with just a little bit of poke will instantly get the Nanoblade, and if they want to go all out just to make sure, they can grab Nanoblade or grab Blade and just win the fight, because there's not really a whole lot of counterplay as far as support ults go on Lead Stomp on LAN.
Yeah, there's really nothing to really stop them here, as it looks like they just want to make sure that that gets in. As they're actually hanging behind the statue on this fight. Salty Dog trying to poke in, and here comes a Graviton here, and now the Nanoblade comes in. They're going to commit completely to this. Charge comes in, but Repinix actually gets the backline with a big ult there, but Salty Dog on the point actually is able to eliminate Mithra and Repinix there, and now it's just Carboy and Thick Daddy here on the point. Thick Daddy finally goes down, and it is Technician left onto the point as Sensic gets the final 2 kills here, and now they're able to sort of cap here. Will MSXL be able to come back?
There's a chance they could come back, but also, as a defending team, you really want to hold this choke, because that's the most defensive position on pretty much all of point B for Kings Row. Sensic, though, was really the one that sort of allowed them to win that fight after they traded the Nanoblade grab and Repinix had the large barrage. Had Sensic not lived through any of that, I really think MSXL would have had a chance to just win that fight again, since they had the Moira and the Hog. It's really hard to clear either of those two off a point by themselves.
Yep. Yeah, and now it looks like, Thick Daddy has actually gone to the Zarya here, switching off his beloved Roadhog, and gets eliminated at the first corner. So now they're up 6v5 here. That res is not going to be able to come in, as Technician is actually getting put out of position, but he's able to survive. That pharmacy for MSXL still in play here, as Repinix trying to do his best with the rockets with Commander Hui here on the Junkrat. There's just a lot of spam. They could be playing into Technician, but a huge tire! My goodness, Commander Hui gets 4, and immediately it looks like it's going to be a reset here for WSOL.
Whenever a tire like that happens, there's nothing you can do but other than just run back to spawn and wait for your team. This is really a chance for MSXL to sort of push up, maintain control of that choke like they really want to on this point, and hopefully based on that tire, if they want to win this map, they can just stall it out at this choke.
Yeah, Valkyrie actually gets popped here by Luna as she's going to try to sort of force them in here, but a Coalescence actually gets popped by by MSXL here as Repenix takes out Ryderis, so the Genji here not going to be able to sort of keep poking, but a res here from Luna in mid-air gets Ryderis back as the fight here is right onto the payload. Repenix punishes Luna for that res though, takes her out as down goes Salty Dog, and WSOL is going to have to back up here with only 2:45 left on the clock.
They're really sort of still poking, so if MSXL gets aggressive here and maybe gets this kill with the Pharah like they just did, then that's really a big stagger. That has a chance of costing them a team fight later. Again, they're approaching that Shatter, Grav, and then Nanoblade, so they should be able to push through if they use their ults correctly. But really, the amount of time they've kind of gotten stalled at this choke is a little much at the moment.
Yeah, it's very problematic here for WSOL. MSXL here is doing a pretty decent job, even losing Thick Daddy early in the fight, but Repenix actually comes out with an ult right away, is able to get Technician, only gets slept, but then gets immediately charged and killed. So we're now 3 to the good, 4 to the good here as Luna brings back Technician, and now MSXL are reeling as they lose most of their members here into that engage. It's only Delicious and Mithra that are going to be able to engage left, and they are pushing on them hard. Salty Dog's pushing Delicious all the way back. Reinforcements from MSXL are just spawning in as Delicious actually just keeps getting wailed on by Technician. A huge ult here as Salty Dog goes in for the charge and finishes off Delicious here. They lose their main tank as Thick Daddy is actually trying to get Salty Dog eliminated. Salty Dog actually pushed a little too far in as the payload is approaching point B, and now Thick Daddy trying to do his best to sort of stall it out, but with no main tanks here on both sides, it's going to be a bit of a brawly fight as Mithra pops the wings here, is trying to keep Repenix up. They're about 3 meters away from the final point. They're trying to see if they can eliminate what they can here. Sensic here with a huge ult takes out both Carboy and Repenix out. Young goes to a res comes in for Sensic into the backline, and a Carboy gets a res here onto the point too with a Graviton coming in. Delicious gets eliminated, and the fight continues here onto the point. This might go the way of WSOL here if they can eliminate Thick Daddy in the back, but they can't. Commander Hui gets 2 on the point. Big Graviton, actually big nade, unable to sort of finish everybody off. Technician with huge amounts of energy is not going to be able to finish anybody off. He's the only person left here on the point, looks like, and MSXL here have whittled away the time. There's only 40 seconds left. Technician's got to back up. He's going to get really staggered if he gets killed. He might not be able to enjoy the fight as Thick Daddy's pushing in and now runs into the reinforcements of WSOL. As this fight continues, it's non-stop. Thick Daddy here caught in no man's land gets deleted by Ryderis as Delicious and Mithra here trying to protect him, but they can't. Big Earth Shatter, big ult here by Repenix, and he gets 2, and WSOL gets eliminated. Luna has to go in for the res. Who does she pick? She picks Technician, and it's going to be Repenix gets res right back up. 10 seconds here left to go onto this fight, which has not stopped, but MSXL here have looked like they've cleared out the rest of WSOL. Sensic here, can he come close enough to touch? He can. Overtime starts, but doesn't look like there's anybody around here as Salty Dog tries to come in, does not do it. And MSXL restrict WSOL to 1 point here on Kings Row.
It was really looking like WSOL had a shot to push that through B off of the big Genji blade that Ryderis brought. They traded a Pharah ult for a Genji blade, but because of how the team sort of spread out and left Repenix up at the front while the 2 supports got bladed, it really gave them an opportunity to take out the team with just only using a blade, even though when they had the big 4 ult advantage, and push it all the way to the end. But once they sort of started trading main tanks and were being a little too aggressive for some of the pushes, that's when it started to swing back towards MSXL because they had the spawn advantage. What you really want to sort of look for in this map, and what really sort of determined it last map, was the amount of staggers that each team saw, especially in Streets phase, because there's a lot of time lost just where one person got picked and they'd have to sort of regroup, but people kept getting picked. And that's not something you really want to do, especially when you're going for the gold, where both teams are right now.
Mm-hmm. Do you think maybe that charge in from Salty Dog there at the end when they were chasing down the tank, they were taking down Delicious there at the end, do you think maybe he should have just let him go and maybe gathered back up here onto the point and let sort of push there? Because Salty Dog getting eliminated there at the end was really huge for WSOL, as it looked like they weren't able to sort of hold that push.
I think the bigger issue with that charge was it didn't seem like the team was clear on it. Salty Dog charged in, and as a main tank, that's something you really want to do to make sure they have space and that they can't recontest. But no one on his team really followed up. So it's really hard to say without hearing what was going on in the comms. But if it's something, again, it's sort of, you have to play with your main tank, keep an eye on them, make sure they don't do the big feed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It really looked like they were just split, and in that moment, it may have actually what lost them point B there.
Yeah, so they've got to be careful about that, as now it looks like here, Thick Daddy now back on his beloved Roadhog, as he's going to be trying to use that to push through point A, and they immediately just sort of go right onto the point here, as Delicious is going to wrap around. Looks like Thick Daddy's going through the hotel, trying to sort of flank around on that Roadhog. He gets the hook on Rydaris and immediately deletes him. That's what they were looking for, as Carboy gets Delicious right back up, who was eliminated here. It is going the way of MSXL. They're able to push WSOL off the point here, as a charge comes in from Salty Dog. He's just trying to stall it out at this point, but I think MSXL get a quick take onto this point A.
That's a blazing fast take onto point A. Probably one of the faster ones, but I think that really just happened because Salty Dog was not what's colloquially referred to as the retard Ryan. He was really giving them a lot of space to work, sort of allowing them to get pushed back and not really holding his ground there. Again, possibly a miscommunication, but it wasn't a very clean defensive point A.
Yeah, so now it looks like MSXL is going to try to use this advantage to try to push them and not allow them defense in the back. Rydaris actually takes out Repenix here, so they lose one. So this is where they're going to start to fall back a little bit and try to even out the squad, as Delicious actually gets knocked down here by Technician. And now WSOL trying to do what they can here to actually mitigate this sort of aggressiveness from MSXL. They actually stop the payload right here at the awning here. So MSXL here not getting the amount of space that they wanted.
Yeah, that switch to the brig was really what they needed. It allowed Salty Dog to be a little bit more aggressive, knowing that he had that additional stun, the additional save at his shoulder. And when they're able to push up like that, and when you have tank lines that knows they can be aggressive, it's really a deadly thing to be worried about.
And now here an ult comes out here from it looks like everybody from WSOL, they're going down so fast, I can't even mention them down, as MSXL here are going towards point B. A res comes in here for Delicious. And is WSOL even going to be able to contest here?
They'll have time to regroup, but as long as they don't stagger out and get caught one at a time, like Sen6 is about to, that's rough and exactly what they didn't want to get happening right now. Right now, they're controlling so much space by spawn that they really don't have a shot at contesting unless Salty Dog can pull off a really good play or maybe a good bomb by Technician.
Yeah, here comes the bomb from Technician, as you said. He's trying to get into the backline here. Does not get anywhere. His Commander of Wave finishes off Technician out of the mech here, as Delicious actually finishes off Salty Dog here in the back. Big Earth Shatter comes in. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to stop anything here, and that is going to do it. King's Row goes to MSXL. That's 2-0 here in this final between the two teams. They made it look easy there, Pulse.
They really did. I think a lot of that boils down to the team play there. And I say that because WSOL on multiple occasions looked like they really weren't coordinating or really weren't listening. There might be a little bit of salt going on, maybe a little bit of unfamiliarity with the map if it's not one of their, if they haven't practiced it lately or if they're not familiar with it. But we see MSXL really running a clinic there on how to sort of dismantle a passive defense.
Yeah, they were very, very excellent there. So our next map is going to be Hanamura. King's Row, it's over. Remember, this is a best of 7. This is not a best of 5. So there are 2 more wins for MSXL. WSOL need to come back here and get a win under their belts to make this last a little longer. When we come back, it will be Hanamura between the two teams. Hanamura will be your next map. 2-0 right now. Microsoft Excelsior lead Weed Stomp on LAN. We'll be back after this break. Alrighty, folks. Welcome to Hanamura. Draw Amura, sometimes is what it's called because of the way that Hanamura plays. So let's give a little rundown here of what has happened. If you are just joining us, Weed Stomp on LAN are down 0-2 to Microsoft Excelsior. They have lost both Lijiang Tower in a close 2-1. And King's Row in another 2-1 matchup. And Pulse, Hanamura is one of those 2 CP maps which can get really, really difficult on point B, but point A is just basically a straight shot to the point, right?
Sort of. In Hanamura, the real biggest threat to attackers is the sand pit. Generally, if you set up a defense correctly, if you walk to the point directly through the sand pit, it gives defenders just free reign over you because you're not surrounded by anything. So you really want to have a strategy to make sure that you minimize poke or get to the choke in a way that the defenders can't really do anything about it. So it really requires adjusting to how they set up and also actually having a really solid plan. So it looks like we're going to see WSOL set up sort of as a front defense, which is fairly common, especially around this SR range and especially in solo queue even. But their goal is going to be hold the choke while we want MSXL to be able to make a decisive push through as a team and or use the window to their advantage. So if they're able to do that and sort of win a fight at the choke, then they should be able to win a fight on the point pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it looks like MSXL has gone the long way, and Sensik actually flanking all the way around, takes down Mithra here, and that's going to delay this push here as Rydaris takes out Carboy. So both supports now for MSXL down. It looks like WSOL here going with an aggressive defense, but losing Salty Dog here might be big. But Luna right there with the res is going to save them right there. So now good stop here by WSOL initially on this attack.
Since you have the Sombra who can help hack the health pack in the ramen shop, the Mega right on the other side of the gates, this is really where you want to hold because that's one of the most useful packs for the defenders and attackers. And we see Thick Daddy coming in to get a big hook, which is really the opening that they were looking for to push through the gates.
Well, yeah, and what we didn't see also was the Sombra in the back also got eliminated here. So Thick Daddy doing some work here on that Roadhog. That's what we were looking for, but no, don't count out Commander Hui. He got out 2-2, so now it looks like WSOL actually all go down here on point A, and MSXL here take it with pretty much 2:45 on the clock. They'll add 4:30, so there'll be over 6:45 here on the point B push as they're going to be charging in, and they're going to try to sort of snowball this right away. It looks like ults here. Commander Wee does have the Dragons as he's going to come in, and Thick Daddy does have the Roadhog ult. They're just going to wait here for Delicious to come through, and they're going to attack right away. There's not going to be any hold up here as they go right onto the point. Thick Daddy goes for the hook, but he's still able to eliminate Luna. Repinix actually got eliminated by Sensik here. This WSOL here trying to sort of hold up this defense. Rydaris with the blade takes out both Thick Daddy and Mithra, and down they go. It's only going to be Delicious here left on the point, and WSOL are going to be able to hold.
This is one of those points where pretty much everyone in the game calls it Dradomora because of this point. It's a really strong defensive position, and from that fight, we see why. It's really hard to line up the defenders in a spot where you can use an ult as an attacker to just team wipe and get a clean win. Where you can do that on a lot of other, well, not a lot of other, but plenty of other 2CP maps. It gives you a lot of defensive high ground all around the point. So no matter which way you enter as an attacker, you're going to be at some sort of disadvantage. You just want to minimize those disadvantages.
Yeah, and it looks like Repinix here is going to be staying on that Pharah just to sort of poke in there. He's got his ult, but immediately, wow, what shot by Audit to Can't here. But a Dragon actually onto the top will clear out that top ledge and allow MSXL to sort of come on in. As Thick Daddy gets grenaded right away, he's going to have to run. And it now looks like it's spread out MXXL a little bit, but Commander Hui is able to get out Salty Dog on this attack as Rydaris is able to kill out Mithra, and the support's down for MSXL, as MSXL here not being able to sort of concisely attack this point. Though they have 5 minutes to go, these two attacks here from MSXL look somewhat a little sloppy.
Again, this is sort of how they attack, and I don't think they've had bad attack pathing getting into the position they need to. It's just sort of what happens once the fight breaks out. They're sort of zoning in on the point, it looks like, and almost rushing the point, and someone in the back gets picked, or maybe someone gets booped by the Pharah and can't quite get back to the fight in time. So they need to make sure they stick together and make sure that they collapse on the same target. Maybe take a little bit of a poke battle from one of the balconies to lower someone before they initiate as well.
when do they switch here is the question. It's like if this attack does not go forward, as they actually come in, Coalescence comes in, and Thick Daddy actually gets a good offensive position here, but immediately gets grenaded, and now he's not going to be able to heal himself as a bomb actually gets sent in, is able to eliminate him off the point. Luna goes in for the res, and gets deleted because of it. Rydaris now is nanoed and blading onto the point. He's trying to eliminate Delicious here before Mithra goes down. He's getting all the kills here. Commander Hui and Repenix here still alive onto the point, but WSOL is able to sort of finish them off. A little sloppy here on the defense, but they're able to sort of send MSXL packing.
I really think as the fight broke out, you mentioned what they need to change, and I think one of the big changes is something they just made. They swapped to Widow because due to the nature of hit scan heroes versus what they were just having with the Hanzo before, they really want a way to make sure that the gates of the defender spawn are pressured. So now they're able to do that with Repenix. However, I feel like they still probably would like to switch off the Hanzo, but you'll probably see the Dragons come out just because they're so close to it. Maybe go for a Shatter Dragons to clear off a lot of people. What they really need to be careful of is they need to make sure the Winston really can't get off Primal Rage to stall the point, though. If that happens, then they'll likely lose the fight again.
Yeah, and it looks like the Thick Daddy and Commander Hui immediately get deleted. He gets to use the Dragon, but down goes MSXL. What I'm actually sort of seeing here is it looks like they are focusing those grenades right onto Thick Daddy, and he's just not able to survive long enough to actually contribute here on this Roadhog. As now they're just basically finishing people off here as Mithra gets sent way into the abyss, and it looks like here WSOL are going in for some switches. Thick Daddy now going to the Zarya here as he really realizes that it doesn't look like the Roadhog is going to have any play here on point B.
Audit was more or less saving the nade for Thick Daddy. Every fight, if you're keeping an eye on the Roadhog, you saw him instantly get purple and have to sort of run away, hide, grab a health pack, heal up. And by the time that was over, the fight was pretty much already lost because they were taking the 5v6. So because of the Zarya getting a way to sort of purge the bubbles and also to support the rest of your team, this really opens up a lot of different attacking possibilities for MSXL.
Yeah, and it looks like here, though, they do get a kill here on Rydaris. And it goes to 5v5 here as Rydaris, though, immediately gets res as Delicious drops onto the point, and another blade here from Rydaris as he's going to try to finish off the rest of MSXL as they're going to be coming in. He does get Mithra, and that's probably going to be enough to clear out this fight as Carboy here on the Mercy here is just going to get deleted, and WSOL having a good old time defending the dojo here with 1:45 left on the clock. They've killed a good 5 minutes on this defense.
A really interesting attack that is pretty possible with their team comp is if they're all able to flank the left side. There's a bug with Bridget right now, Brigitte rather, where you can lunge, and if they're all able to do that and sort of just let Thick Daddy walk in from top left or right and do a surprise attack from left, I think they'd have a shot at catching WSOL off guard. But instead, they're sticking to the standard attack patterns from front and top right.
Oh, and now the fight is absolutely over with Technician getting a big 3K. 4K as he finishes off Carboy. You're right. They've got to be able to do something here with 1 minute left to go. At most, they're going to have about 2 fights left. I think they're going to have only about 1 clean fight here. WSOL here has defended for a good 6 minutes here and just not let MSXL do anything here on Hanamura.
Really key to this defense, I think, are the Sombra and the Audit, because Audit, as Ana, is completely uncontested in the back, which is why Ana's so good at this point. No one can really get to her without eating the entirety of the enemy team's poke, but it also means that you have an uncontested Ana in the back just destroying the other team.
Yeah, and it looks like here they're coming in here with Mithra's rally as they're going to be trying to look for targets. Commander Hui looking for the Ana, couldn't find it. His Technician destroys the tire, and now we've got wings popped here by Luna. They're trying to aim for targets. But now the fight is on. 12 seconds left to go. This is going to be the fight here. Sensic gets rid of Delicious, so no main tank here from MSXL as a Graviton actually gets dropped, but nothing doing. Nobody gets caught there. Mithra finishes off Luna, but remember, spawn advantage here is in for WSL. Overtime starts to tick down as Mithra gets deleted, and we have an epic 6:45 hold here. No ticks for MSXL. Weed Stomp on land, imposing their will here on point B.
Yeah, this map, we see a lot of the inverse going on. On King's Row, I mentioned how sort of there might have been a little bit of team miscommunication going on, but they have definitely cleared up for this. They've been cycling through alts. They've only been using 2 or 3 at a time, and they always make sure that they have a response to things that are coming up, whether intentional or not intentional. But it definitely looks like they have a much better thought out defense on this map.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it'll be very, very interesting here. So now it is time for WSOL to go on the attack here, and they do have a win condition here, Pulse. Of course, it is assumed that they need to take point A also, but a lot of times, people think point A is pretty much a gimme on Hanamura, but I don't know. Sometimes it's not as easy as people make it out to be, but they only need a tick on point B to capture the win here on Hanamura, and to give themselves here a point in this best of 7. So now, looking at the lineups here, what are you seeing from both teams?
I think I can only really talk about MSXL right now because we might see 1 or 2 switches before the gates open, but I really like the Orisa Hog defense, and it looks like what they're setting up to do is setting up right where Commander Hui is, and they're just going to sort of shell up here, and if they push through, they're going to grind them down from any direction they approach from, and then just fall back to point. And that was a fairly common professional strategy towards the last season or so of Overwatch League, and even in a couple contenders tournaments. So if they're able to pull it off and rotate cleanly, this comp is very much able to hold point A when done correctly.
All right, so it looks like here they're going up it looks like WSOL going up the normal way here, as they are going up towards the point. Rydaris actually goes right onto the roof here and is trying to sort of attack this sort of established point, but Rampinix here takes out Auto Decant. He actually goes right onto the point here and is going to be trying to draw some members here of from MSXL. Oh, what a great hook there from Thick Daddy, as he's immediately able to sort of delete Rydaris off. Rampinix finishes off Salty Dog, and Auto Decant gets res, but I think this offense is pretty much done for here from WSOL. They're going to have to sort of reset a little bit here, as nobody has died here from MSXL. Thick Daddy here now holding the door, trying to sort of figure out what is going on here. I'm not sure exactly what's happening here on the things, but it looks like as Thick Daddy and Delicious are sort of holding the top point, WSL has gone for a full reset. They're at the door here, and it looks like they've gone to a Winston. Are they going to go diving this time?
It's possible. I think what really they want to do is not dive where the Orisa is, because that's almost suicide. But they want to make sure they can get to the point very quickly. Hopefully capitalize on this pick that Repinix just got on Sensik.
Yeah, and the thing about it is Sensik gets immediately rezzed here. His Technician is able to finish off Thick Daddy here. Big grenade here onto the Delicious, and that's going to finish off Delicious. As Carboy trying to sort of haul off the point himself. Sensik finishes off Commander Hui, and now WSOL have the openings they need. Sensik going huge here on the Widowmaker here. They're going to be able to push off the supports. Both Carboy and Mithra here going to get deleted on the point, and they're going to have over maybe 6 minutes here to just basically get a tick on point B.
It's not an easy feat, as we saw that Weed Stomp on LAN was just able to pull it off. But if they're able to get a fantastic purple, as Otta has been doing this whole time, and then follow up with a Nano Blade, this could be a very quick map.
Yeah, and you see the ults up here for Rydaris. They're probably gonna go for it right now. Tyre comes out from Commander Hui here. He's trying to sign off that attack. Audit actually gets the lead. That's a huge pick. They can't use the Nano Blade here with no Ana on the field. They do not have the res up, and it's in a position that is going to be very, very dangerous here. So they're going to have to back up here. They're not going to attack right away. This is actually really smart here from WSOL to just sort of hold off, wait for the Ana to come back, and then push when her back on the field. But look at this. They're literally almost going to have all 6 ults here up when they're going to attack.
Yeah, and we see Microsoft Excelsior has an incredibly low ult bank compared to all of the ults that the attackers have. So all they need to do is pretty much brute force it, throw all their ults out, and I think they have a pretty solid chance.
Yeah, and here comes the brute force named Rydaris as a nano blading Genji. He's going to try to take out Thick Daddy. A bomb actually gets sent into the air. There's nowhere to hide from it, and WSOL here are able to get Hanamura point B and win Hanamura. They've added a point. They've gone up. It is now 2-1 MSXL still lead, but a great Hanamura map here from WSOL. Great use of their ults there on point B.
Yeah, as soon as they built up that bank, it was looking pretty good for them, especially since they had the window where MSXL really had nothing to counter it, as they could keep throwing in ults and more or less win it because there was nothing to stop them. But that map, I really think that the MVP was Owlet, because just he kept getting purple after purple to shut down anyone that tried to contest them, and they won the map off of purples really and nano blades. When you can't do that without having a really solid Ana.
Yeah. So excellent map win there from WSOL. They're showing their credentials here. They belong here, as it looks like going to be some technical errors and some restarts here from WSOL. Some issues happening here on the other side. We're going to go to a break. So we have gone through 3 maps here between MSXL and WSOL. It is 2-1. WSOL just winning Hanamura, MSXL winning Lijiang and Kings Row. The next map up is Gibraltar. It is an escort map. Stay tuned, folks. There's some breaks here coming up, some switches from both teams. We're going to go into a little mini break. When we come back, it will be Gibraltar. Stay tuned.
jure, ça fera bonne impression en ville. Tu sais ce qu'on dira?
Mourir sous, c'est mourir debout, et je me fous des racontars. L'histoire jugera, madame.
Je bois systématiquement pour oublier les ennemis de ma femme. Je bois systématiquement pour oublier tous mes emmerdements. Systématiquement pour oublier les ennemis de ma femme. Je bois systématiquement pour oublier tous mes emmerdements.
Alrighty, we are back. Back a little early here, so as we're not in the map just yet, just making sure that MSXL here is going to get into the map. But just wanted to mention again the Owlet tournament post-game show hosted by Ad, Britboy, and Necra. I will be joining as a guest caster for the show. It will be immediately after the championship game tonight. We will have clips, we will have highlights, we will have casting, we will have salt. We will have everything for you in the post-game show. Join Ad, Britboy, and Necra here after the show as we go over what has happened here this weekend in the Owlet tournament. So, Pulse, Gibraltar is our next map, and it is an escort map. I think this plays into the strengths of MSXL, as it looked like WSOL just had a hard time on King's Row.
It looked like WSL, you're right, it looked like WSL did have a really hard time finding their footing, especially on the cart part of King's Row. And that's the escort part of King's Row. This map is entirely an escort map. So it will entirely depend on how well they find their footing against MSXL's defense here, and how well the teams sort of play around each other and sort of prioritize how they take the objective over taking team fights, and how they might not prioritize it. This is a really good Widow Genji map, which I think both teams have a really solid chance of performing. We've seen a little bit more Widow Genji from Stomp on LAN, so they might have a inherent advantage just by that. But we'll see how the teams sort of play out and play with their tanks and play as a team.
Yeah, it's the three-dimensionality of this map is going to be the very interesting part, and what I'm going to be interested in seeing is it looks like Sensik here is going to go to the Widow here, as you said, and it looks like Rydaris on the Genji, so here we go. It looks like WSOL here comes out here on a little bit of a dive formation, so they're going to be looking for targets here from MSXL going up into the upper area as Salty Dog here comes up, and Rydaris goes immediately neck deep into MSXL. He gets dotted and he's running like hell into the backline, but it's done enough to sort of split the team up as Sensik takes out Repinix here, as WSOL here gets the early kill. Might have been using him here as a little bit of bait, as Repinix does get rezzed. Rydaris gets taken down by Delicious, but they move this cart here through the car wash, and now are on the other side here as they turn around and are trying to sort of eliminate members of MSXL. They're caught between a rock and a hard place now, as it looks like Technician is sort of stuck between two mines, as he's stuck between both attackers and defenders here of MSXL. They've started to regroup as Rydaris has now come back, but that payload here is stuck up at the top, and now it looks like a reset coming in, but Sensik actually takes out Commander Hui. So they lose their Genji here on defense, as Audit Decant has just planted herself behind the payload and is now sort of slowly but surely pushing the payload down. She gets deleted here by Repinix, who saw her right there in the back, and now the payload is sort of stuck right before point A, as a WSOL here has sort of had to stop their attack.
You mentioned it getting underneath the car wash, but the really hard defensive spot on this map is right around the corner towards A, because the cart does move back if no one's touching it, so it can always sort of go back downhill. But point A is an interesting point because it's so close to the defender spawn, which is spawns are a whole nother topic on this map. But as long as they can keep staggers coming in from the defense like this, then they have a really good shot of just cleaning it up and taking A right this fight, or maybe even next fight if they can keep the staggers.
Yeah, and there were 2 kills here early, as now it looks like Delicious actually picks him off. Sensik actually goes down too, and as it's evened out here, as now it looks like Delicious trying to sort of shield up and protect the point as best he can, as it looks like Salty Dog is ulting, trying to spread out MSXL around, trying to make sure that they don't have it settled on the point. Bomb into the back here is not going to really get anyone placed in a position that is not really threatening, as Thick Daddy now on the D.Va, showing off his D.Va skills, as it looks like as Rydaris draws out the Transcendence here with the blade. Pretty decent 2-for-1 there, as they get the Transcendence out, as they're going to be able to use that to their advantage on the next attack.
And finally, the team sort of stabilizes and people sort of go back to their teams and regroup a little bit as that last stagger on Rydaris comes in. Right now, we see a big change from the Widow to Hanzo on Sensik, and we also see Raponix switch to the Tracer from the Widow. So both teams have sort of adjusted their comps a little bit for each other, and maybe this will open up some new plays and new strategies.
Yeah, and it looks like here as Delicious actually dives right back in and kicks Rydaris again, and now the WSOL here just not looking very good at all here against MSXL. MSXL being very, very aggressive, sending them back to spawn. Technician here gets demeched. They're going to try to stagger her, and like Technician's going to be trying to run off the cliffs here. Thick Daddy trying to get a little bit of a poke here on there, trying to build up the ults here. 39 seconds left to go. That payload is starting to back up into the beginning of the car wash here. WSOL have really possibly just one chance at it here on this final push.
We also see them sort of, Salty Dogs sort of preempting these fights, getting a little bit aggressive before his team's really able to follow up, but he's sort of getting a little bit used to falling back and backing off. But there's some trades going on right now where this could really go either way starting now.
Yeah, and it looks like Salty Dog benefiting from the nano right there, is going after the supports, as now ulting, trying to make sure he gets onto the point. He's able to sort of eliminate a couple of them, as now he's trying to sort of move Commander Hui off the point. Now there are 2 people trapped into the back. Repinix and Commander Hui both get deleted here by Salty Dog, as it now looks like WSL is able to sort of clean up the rest of MSXL here. Delicious trying to hold off the point, and a blade actually starts to come out here into the back from Rydaris, is trying to eliminate Thick Daddy, who's stuck in the doorway. They're going to cap point A there. They get it there at the very end, but here comes the hard part of this map, because this is notoriously where most teams get stuck, as it looks like Commander Hui got caught here with a bad spawn. He's going to get deleted, and if WSOL know what's good for them, they try to get aggressive and push back MSXL.
If you look at the alt bank coming out, we see a lot more advantageous alts coming in from Microsoft Excel. So if they play this right, they can get in below 1, 2 alts before anyone on WSOL can pull theirs up and can easily take control of the cart and maybe even start holding at the gate, which is really where you want to hold the defenders.
Yeah, and an ult here now comes out as Rydaris actually is trying to avoid Commander Hui, but Commander Hui gets into the backline, gets out both Auditacan and Luna, as it looks like here they're able to sort of wreak havoc with the backline of WSOL. Technician here gets demeched, and MSXL here being aggressive. Loner on that Zenyatta with the final 2 pickoffs, and MSXL here looking pretty good on this hold with 1:30 left.
This is exactly the position that they want to retake it in. These 4 doors, makes it really hard for attackers to sort of stream through, get in position to attack. The only thing I'd say is maybe the Zenyatta wants to get back high ground so that he's less of an easy target on this cart.
Yeah, and it looks like Salty Dog gets immediately discorded here, so they're aiming. They know that the aggressiveness from the Winston can be exploited, but Salty Dog does get Mithra, and all the kills now going through to WSOL here. They're able to sort of finish off the rest of MXXL. Loner's the only one left. It's only down, actually, excuse me, Commander Hui's still alive on the Genji, but now it is a team kill here for WSOL as they're pushing through, but there will be another fight here with 48 seconds left to go. They're pushing through the doorway, trying to not let MSXL into the point where they're attacking. Point B now really, really exposed as MXXL coming through. The payload is almost there as a bomb gets sent into the back. Will it get anybody? No. It looks like WSOL here has been split up as Rydaris comes in with the blade. He's going to try to get supports. He gets Mithra. Loner has already gone down, and it looks like WSOL here are going to end up winning this fight. They will end up probably taking point B if they can get Thick Daddy down. He's the only one left here on point, and that's going to do it. Point B will go to WSOL here.
It looks like MSXL was really banking on getting that first pick. A lot of teams get sort of stuck, or completely, I mean, it looked like they were banking on completely holding at point A. It looked like point B went a lot smoother for WSOL, and it may have been because they weren't as practiced on it. You see a little bit of staggers. They weren't executing fights as cleanly. They were able to retake it, but they sort of just were able to bank up 1 or 2 alts, and Rydaris really showing his Genji prowess there.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, like, the payload is slowly but surely creeping up, but they've only got a minute here to sort of finish off this final point. But the poke has been real here as Repenix gets into the back and takes out Salty Dog. But Sensic actually takes him out, and it's just basically a giant brawl. EMP actually gets sent combined with the bomb, and it's huge! Technician takes out both supports from MSXL as Mithra and Loner both go down, and it looks like your Technician and Delicious are just sort of fighting it off on the point. He's got to sort of back off as Repenix here is by himself on this looks like on the Reaper, as he's got to also back off. Thick Daddy here trying his best to sort of stall out this aggressive push from WSOL. This is a whole new WSOL here, as Technician here trying to sort of hold on the point. A bomb gets sent into the back, and that's going to finish off Technician. Thick Daddy is able to sort of hold it here. 21 seconds left to go. Sensic finishes off Mithra, so no mercy here for the final part of this point. 15 seconds left to go. What is going on here? Rydaris is actually still on the point, trying to sort of poke and push the best as he can, as the rest of WSOL are coming in back. Repenix getting into the background, but Audit with a huge transcendence here. Double trances going on both sides, so both teams are going to be able to stay up. But Valks also by both sides of Mithra trying to keep Commander Hui boosted and trying to shoot out targets on the ground. Technician takes out Repenix here. The payload hasn't moved yet. Finally, it's starting to creep away as the fight actually starts to continue. Overtime sort of ticks down. A Reaper ult right here onto the point is trying to eliminate the monkey, as a bomb actually is on the point. It's going to move out. Luna comes in for a res. Rydaris gets res back here on the point. Fight continues, and WSOL here have a slight advantage as Thick Daddy here trying to sort of hold off the point here on the D.Va, but the D.Va gets demeched as the rest of WSOL come in. Ooh, Commander Hui ulting gets deleted in the middle of the ult, is not able to do anything. Delicious actually gets rid of Sensic as they're trying to continue this fight here on the point. The MSXL here slowly but surely getting whittled away, and now spawn advantage is going to be negated with the spawn times increasing. The payload is still moving as Loner can't get out of the spawn. Commander Hui tries to come back on the Doomfist, and WSOL complete Gibraltar.
That was quite the turnaround from what I was expecting after they were almost held at point A. They were able to really sort of keep pushing the cart, and they didn't lose any time almost at point A. Between the big bombs from Technician and the big blades from Raideris, they really never lost momentum except for once or twice there.
Yeah, and it seemed like that they were having like almost like motivational problems. As soon as the fight that they needed to win it. They just sort of focused in and do what they needed to do, and just sort of pushed on through. They really only had a minute coming around the corner to finish off this map, and they were able to sort of complete it. No time remaining in their time bank, but still very, very impressive here by WSOL. So now this forces MSXL here to sort of push through Gibraltar and do their best to sort of get it through the map. What are we going to see here from MSXL here, Pulse?
It's a good question. They came out with some things I normally wouldn't recommend or say on defense, but it had varied success. Like the Reaper isn't something you see a lot, especially on point C. Point B, it's a little more common, but they were able to run with it pretty effectively until the end, where they had some issues getting their 2 DPSs to get their ults out. Like I believe Repanix and Commander Hui died with their ults 2 or 3 times in a row. That's not something you really want to do, especially when you're trying to clean the team off the call. So if they're able to fix those 2 issues, I really see them being able to run pretty much any team comp they want here, as long as they're comfortable with it.
Yeah. So with 12 seconds left to go, it looking like they're going to go with a pulled park push with Repanix in the air, and it looks like they're going to go with a Moira here for just even extra oomph on the ground. That's going to keep the healing on the ground very, very steady here as they sort of come through. So they don't see anything coming out here from WSOL as they send out that little orb to see if they can pull anybody off. Commander Hui on the Genji here, trying to sort of scout out, figure out what they're going to be running, as the payload has actually come around the corner and is going to be heading for the car wash. Thick Daddy's already up top, trying to see if he can get anybody up, but he gets deleted right away, so they focus on him quick. And now as the dive comes in here, they're trying to see if they can eliminate anybody from WSOL as they move that payload through the car wash over to the other side. Raideris and Technician here are going to start to have to fall back and go straight to the payload as they sort of fall backwards. And that's going to give some time for Thick Daddy to sort of come back in as the fight now happens right here into the car wash onto the payload. Delicious gets leaded here as they're trying to sort of go in. And now the fight has gone the way of WSOL. Technician with 2 big kills, 3 big kills as Thick Daddy trying to join the fight gets deleted right away as it looks like the monkey from Salty Dog here trying to aim for all of the supports, and he gets him into the back. And WSOL looking with a good first point hold here.
It looks like they had a change of heart coming out with that comp. They started on the pulled pork, but before the first fight began, Delicious ran back in and switched Winston. And Winston Hog is something that, I know what I said earlier about running pretty much anything they want, but Winston Hog is one of the more niche tank lineups. So they sort of switch all the way to Widow Genji dive at this point, and it looks like they're going to stick with it, build up some ults, and use this to push through A.
Yeah, and Repanix getting 2 big kills and Loner getting a 3rd now. It's downturned into a 6v3 here. It's all about focus firing at this point because they've pretty much got this fight pretty much won. Diva Bomb actually comes in. Actually, it's still going to eliminate Repanix here as it looks like here now reinforcements come in, but Luna here popping the ult before she even got onto the point is going to get deleted here by that coalescence from Loner. And now it looks like MSXL have got the door sort of covered here. They're going to just try to capture point A here without any issue. 4:33 here on the clock. They're doing this way faster than WSOL did.
This addition, that fast cap on point A really is the key to winning Gibraltar for them. They want to be able to finish point C with enough time so that they can get a significant advantage going into the second round of attacks. And if they can do that, I see them having a pretty easy time. It depends on how fast they can storm through this point B, but it's already looking like they have a good shot considering they got Technician out.
Yeah, they got Technician out. Delicious got deleted here, but that's an acceptable loss on the side of WSOL. Blade comes in here from Raideris to see if he can actually deal with anybody here in the back. Gets Mithra and actually gets Loner too, so both supports down here. Big ult there by Raideris is going to stall this push right under the spaceship. With 3:49 here left to go, they've got plenty of time, but it looks like WSOL is content to sort of hold them here right now.
Yeah, it looks like they don't really have a solid win condition coming into this next fight. They have the trance to cancel out any blade, and unless Thick Daddy can find a really thick bomb, then I don't think that they're going to have a clear advantage coming in. It's going to entirely rely on if they can get these picks with Repanix and Commander Hui before they commit.
Yeah, and it looks like Technician and Salty Dog already down to half health. Technician get demeched here. So that's not going to be good to start off with. But Commander Hui, so it looks like now it looks like MSXL has sort of stabilized here into the back. Mithra going in for the res, gets Delicious back up. Technician here into the back, stalling as best as he can here on that Baby Diva, and that's going to allow a little bit of time here for a WSOL to see if they can sort of rearrange, but they're all on the retreat, as it looks like the monkey from WSOL, Salty Dog here, trying to sort of come in, but Delicious blocking the door. They're trying to move this payload super quickly into point B. They're not going to be able to stop it. It looks like WSOL have been caught here on the other side of the doors. They want to set up a defense around the corner, but it looks like they're going to engage right here as the payload's going to come through. Delicious gets deleted here by Technician, and it looks like MSXL, though, will have a huge spawn advantage here if they want to keep the fight here at the bottom. There's 4:01 here on the clock, so it's huge, but WSOL here getting the kills that they need. Commander Hui not getting not getting the kill that he wants, but Revenix picking up Ryderis could be the beginning of MSXL turning this fight around as Salty Dog finishes off Loner, who has gone to the Brigitte. But now it looks like WSOL are starting to sort of fall back as Revenix takes out Sensic, and now the openings are starting to happen. That's the danger of fighting down at the bottom here. You could open yourself up to being exposed here as Luna brings Sensic back up here on the res. The payload is constantly moving. Blade actually comes out here from Commander Hui to sort of push the advantage here as Repanix takes out Sensic. Ulting Monkey here on the point by Salty Dog, trying to sort of stall out as best they can. They haven't stopped. The fight continues on as Delicious here is into the back to sort of slow him out. Mona finishes off Salty Dog, and now a blade here from Rydaris trying to sort of negate what's going on with MSXL as the fight continues. Transcendence now comes out from Audit to Kant to sort of slow this down as best as they can. Repanix here into the back trying to do anything that he can as Sensic now has been gone to the Tracer to try to see if they can get to the Widow. Bomb actually in the middle here is not going to protect Salty Dog. He's going to get blown up as Thick Daddy placed it right, and another bomb here. There's not going to be that much shielding here to protect into the back, but nobody gets deleted as this fight sort of continues here onto the point. And MSXL here with the full 6 are going to be able to push here on WSOL. They're fighting here right onto the point. WSOL being very, very stingy here, not letting this sort of continue on. Now we're getting some real movement here onto the point as Salty Dog dives directly into the back, gets immediately deleted. The call out that the point is almost there. Audit to Kant here gets immediately deleted also. They're almost there, coming through the doorway. Nobody's blocking the doorway here. Now, maybe a little bit of carelessness here from MSXL as they continue to fight. Technician here trying to hold off. A rally now comes out, trying to see if they can actually fight this and win it here. Commander Hui immediately deletes Rydaris. All the kills going out to MSXL. Looks like Luna coming here just to stall on the Moira. That's going to do it here. Huge time back for MSXL, as WSOL will only get a point here to restart Gibraltar.
Yeah, this is a large time difference coming into Gibraltar, especially when 1 minute means you only really have a fight, maybe 2 fights as an attacker. The spawn advantage is so good for defenders, and the first point's so long that you can take a fight, stall them at the car wash, and just kind of stall it out for 40 seconds to make sure that they don't have a really solid chance to get a good second fight in if you play it right. So it looks like we might see some different strats coming in, but I saw the Bastion, Audit highlighting the Bastion, but swapping back to Ana. And I really think Ana is key to their success. And that's because the Nano Blades have just been so solid all day. The purples have been so solid all day. And if they can just keep that rhythm going, then that's sort of how they want to take this first fight, maybe not win it, come back with a Nano Blade, and then hopefully team wipe them.
Yeah, but it looks like here they're going to go with a heavy lineup here. They're going to try to protect the President here with the pirate ship. So Technician and Salty Dog here going with the double shield. So that's, I think, what they're going to be going for. This is high risk, high reward, isn't it, Pulse?
It really is, and especially since Gibraltar is such a vertical map, the Bastion really loses a lot of value. There's a lot of high ground cover that they can hide behind. So if MXL isn't careful and plays into it, it's exactly what they need. But if they cycle their tanks on point to stall them out while the Winston, Diva, Genji get chip damage in and eventually get a pick, that's how MSL wins this.
Yeah. But the thing about it is there's no Ana on the side of MSXL, so this could play to WSOL's advantage, and they're getting the kills here right away as MSXL sort of dropped in on them, and they lose Thick Daddy's mech, and Delicious actually goes down too, and they're going to be continuing on this point. So it looks like they're going to get through the car wash here, but there's going to be another fight here on point A. But that Bastion is getting all the shielding and healing that he's going to need here. MSXL has got to be careful.
I think what they needed to do right before this fight started was switch Repenix off, get her to a Junk, get her to a Pharah, something that's a little bit more effective against these shields, because right now Widow's going to have hard sight lines taking down anyone, except for maybe an out-of-place Mercy.
Oh, and they're able to get point A here in overtime, so they do able to get it, and now Sensik here has his ult. He's going to be trying to blow people away here with those cannons as a tank. He does get Delicious, and they're going to continue moving here. El Presidente is still safe for the time being, as now we're in an overtime push here. They just need to be able to stop the shielding, but WSOL here with all the momentum.
It really does look like that. Hopefully, yeah, and we see the switch on Repenix over to the Reaper, so we'll hopefully get in, maybe get a bunch of those Hellfire shotguns into the Bastion's weak point on the back of his head. And if they can do that, get the Bastion down, or even get the Bridget or a support down, this should be a pretty easy take-back.
Yeah, and it looks like a Transcendence here actually is going to be coming in. Sensik finally gets deleted here as a Tire comes in. Commander Hui finishes off the rest of WSOL as the Nano Reinhardt here is trying to sort of defend this point. It's going to be a matter of time though, I think, because Salty Dog here has just been mispositioned and now gets into the behind. Audit Decan's the only person left here. Down she goes, but that in a minute is a very, very good spot to sort of stall out.
That was a stellar push, especially considering how much trouble they had breaking through on the first round of their offense. We do know that MSXL had an even faster push through that based on the time bank they had going into point C. So there's a real chance that they just take this back doing the exact same thing they did the first time. They were very clean with it, and if they have the same type of success, this could very easily go back into their favor as long as they play their cards right.
Yeah. But what are like some time stall things that like WSOL could do? I mean, like, time is going to be the main enemy here, so they want to sort of stall them out. What are some things that WSOL have to do here? Make sure that they just sort of whittle away at this clock so that MSXL doesn't get like all the engages that they sort of want here against them.
The best thing to do if you want to stall for time on an escort map is take as many fights as possible. You regroup 6, rush cart, fight it. If you lose, whatever. But you want to keep that rhythm going where you want them to fight for every inch. Gibraltar is interesting because of the high ground, it sometimes doesn't favor that. A lot of times if you want to be one of those comps that really takes every fight, you run Goats. And Goats is a niche on Gibraltar. However, we're going to see them run a lot more solid defense and probably try and just do a ground fight at the car wash and just wash them out by running Trip Tank. Trip Tank with the Genji to clean up.
Oh, yeah. So it looks like here, WSOL has actually set up in the tunnel. They're not setting up on the high ground. It's a very interesting decision here for them here on the ground as Salty Dog and Technician are going to hide in the little hole. As Thick Daddy actually gets a little bit of his own medicine, gets cooked there by Sensik. They're going to actually try to stall them out and try to engage in a big fight, but this fight has not gone the way of WSOL as 2 big kills here from them. From MSXL here is able to actually eliminate. Sensik actually takes out Loner, but this fight, I think, is going to go the way of MSXL as it looks like Sensik gets deleted. They're going to be able to push through the spawn advantage here with MSXL. They're going to try to push through, and they're going to cap point A relatively quickly if they can't get another engage here.
They might just try and forfeit this, because if they can't get back or if someone dies here, then they lose point A and a significant progress on point B. So I think the smart thing to do would be make sure you have 6 before going in, but don't be scared to give up point A in order to retake at the door and get the advantageous spawn advantage for point B.
Well, it looks like 0.79 meters is left we go, and a huge ult here by Sensik as a bomb actually gets laid out. And it looks like Commander Hui is able to sort of stall him out. All the kills have been going on the way of MSXL here. Salty Dog here getting nanoed here, and a blade actually comes in from Commander Hui. He's going to try to finish off this Winston here on the point. He's doing a decent job of stalling out. If they can make it back in time here, they're going to be able to start out. Rydaris comes back, but he's not going to be able to do it. 0.37 meters left to go as Technician, another big fat tank here, is going to try to stall out this point. They haven't capped point A yet, so they have to be super, super careful. As Technician here is now finally going to get demexed and killed. There's the cap. 110 here left on the clock. They got to get it right next to the spaceship here. And now this is where not forfeiting that point might be disadvantageous, as it looks like here 3 early kills as Luna goes in for the res. Audit actually gets back, but it's resing as support here, and Luna gets taken out, and she's going to get taken out again as Sensic here on the it looks like he's going to have to recall, and it looks like that payload is still moving and is now underneath the spaceship.
Yeah, and by contesting point A like they did for so long, they end up just feeding a big alt bank over to MSXL. So in order to take this back, they're going to really have to bank on this Genji blade, bank on this Winston ult to stall it out, and hopefully just weather the storm.
And I don't think they're weathering the storm very well yet, because Commander Hui just take out 2. A big bomb by Thick Daddy takes out right Darius, and that is going to probably be that. Salty Dog has got to do some heroics here on the final point. They have 14 seconds left to go, and an ult here by Repenix here is going to clear out the area. Sensix is in the back. He's not able to stall it out. And now MSXL take out Gibraltar 5-4. So what happens now? MSXL will be going for the title here on Nepal. They are up 3-1 here from WSOL. WSOL putting up a huge fight here on Gibraltar, doing their best to see if they could actually sort of win this and even up this match at 2-2. But now, with 3-1 up, MSXL here will be going for the title.
Yeah, and depending on how things play out on Nepal, we may see quick game, we may see a long game. But I really think the key to Nepal is which teams have been practicing it more, because the nature of Nepal and the nature of each map, each map is so different from the other one that if you're able to have one really solid strategy, you can pretty much run it on every point of the map. But if you're able to play to each map's specific meta and you have the good strategies for that, you can easily overcome a strong team comp on it just based on that.
All right. So yeah, here we go, folks. This is going to be for the title. If WSOL can win Nepal, we're going to go to a 6th map. But if not, Microsoft Excelsior could win the Owlet title here. Microsoft Excelsior up 3-1 on Weed Stomp on LAN. And when we come back, it will be Nepal. Stay tuned. Alrighty, folks. Welcome to Nepal. Just a quick announcement, also, just to remind you, the Owlet post-game recap show, hosted by Ad and Britboy, will be immediately following this match here on this channel. That's right, post-game show, along with Necra, who is our referee here for this match, if we didn't mention that. She's been doing all the reffing here in the background, so give her some love. But as we said, we are here in Nepal. Win condition is this. If MSXL win Nepal, they win the Owlet title and are declared champions, WSOL. If they win Nepal, we will go into another map, which will be Hollywood. So we go into Hollywood if WSOL win this map. Pulse, Nepal. What are we going to see here from both teams?
COP in general, King of the Hill maps, control maps, whatever you want to call them, they always shine on individual play. So each team's win condition is pretty clear. For WSOL, we really want to see them big nano blades come out. Make sure Rydaris can do everything he needs to as Genji. Make sure to shut down the enemy team. And we really want to see something similar for Thick Daddy. They really want to get him into a position where he can find Rydaris out of play, get the hook, maybe hook tank that's out of place, and just capitalize on that.
Oh, and it looks like here we saw actually getting eliminated here pretty early here as Commander Hui and Thick Daddy combine to eliminate that offensive push here on the high ground. As it looks like here, MSXL take the village here relatively easy. Technician getting demeched and now just getting evilly stalled in. Oh my goodness. Rydaris here trying to protect the baby diva here, but it looks like Technician not being in the mech finally gets deleted here. There's a rocket from Repinix here is able to sort of get her out of the mech again and counting to kill her. Now she's going to be able to sort of come on in, but Repinix here takes out Rydaris and stalls again coming in from WSOL. They're just not able to be engaged as a hook comes in from Thick Daddy, is able to get Salty Dog out, who was poking around the corner, and now they're going to have to wait a little bit.
It looks like they're trying to contest from low ground with the dive comp, and knowing that they have the mobility to get up, maybe run through kitchen or run through high ground, you should really be taking advantage of that, especially since Thick Daddy really can't move around as fast as Hog.
Yeah, as it looks like there was a huge rocket kill by Sensic here in the air on Repinix here. What a really, really great kill. And now WSOL here coming back and trying to sort of take back this point by force, as Delicious here is going to get blown up here by Sensic. They only give up about 44%, but that is still pretty good here from MSXL, who will now have to push onto this point.
That was a really, really big team fight opening from Sensic on the far. Just air-shotting the far down, making sure that their team had an open to get in without eating any poke, quickly overtake MSXL and get the point. That was stellar play to open the fight.
Oh, and Rydaris here with a big ult sending right back into MSXL here. That is just drawn massive amounts of attention here as Delicious and Mithra are still trying to sort of survive here. Delicious and Mithra still holding on as Thick Daddy comes back here. Mithra finally gets deleted here as it looks like Thick Daddy gets slept. They are able to get Delicious down, and now Thick Daddy's surrounded by the remnants of WSOL, and now they've won 2 fights in a row here. WSOL looking pretty good on this defense.
Of course they are. They're taking that high ground control really and making sure that Rip can do everything he needs to make sure that MSXL can't really get in without eating 5-6 Pharaoh rockets and taking all this poke. Delicious is scared to put down his shield right now, and that's really slowing down their initiation times and making it hard for them to have the amount of fights they need in order to turn this and build up that ult damage.
Yeah, and Commander Hui just got deleted here by Sensic, who was looking for him when she saw the tire come out. But Rydaris actually takes down Mithra also, so that is another big kill here from WSOL. Loner gets purpled here as she's trying to get back onto the point. Big Earth Shatter is going to catch 4, but doesn't really do anything here as Thick Daddy's going to have to retreat. MSXL not looking very good here on Village. There's about 1 fight left here. If they can win it, WSOL here will take the first point here on Village. As Thick Daddy coming right back here through the front doors, gets immediately grenaded, and he's purple again. He's just got to be super careful. Big hook there on the Technician. He's able to get him down, but is not able to get him out of mech here. Commander Weak takes down Salty Dog, and now we're at 99% here, as it looks like they're able to take the point right back. Rydaris here with the Nano Blade gets rid of Mithra. He's trying to hold this point all by himself, but he gets taken out, and now the point has now switched right back, as it looks like here Delicious is able to sort of like try to do what he needed to do onto Sensic here, and now a reset coming in from WSOL.
I think the swap to Winston really benefited Microsoft there. And it was a lot of it was because it looked almost like Delicious had a sarcastic amount of shield holding up as Reinhardt. He was walking into fights with the shield completely up, wasn't even fluttering it, was scared to put it down a lot of times, and being Winston sort of frees him up to be able to do damage again and jump in when he needs to, disengage when he needs to, and have much more effectiveness on the back line and auto decamp.
Yeah, and it looks like the fight here has gone the way of WSOL, as MXXL, as they're able to sort of delete this sort of push from WSOL, but we're at 87% here. So MSXL here looking for some extra staggers to maybe see if they can turn this sort of final fight onto the point into their favor. They're holding the low ground here as Sensik here on the Pharah has come through, but without a Mercy, he's going to get deleted. Overtime starts as they're able to get to the point. They can build up a little bit of point, but an ult here by Repinix here is able to catch out Rydaris, and Technician actually goes down also. This is going the way of MSXL. They're not able to turn the point. Thick Daddy with a huge ult gets Luna, and that is going to do that for Village. MSXL, one more map, and they will be our Owlet champions. Unfortunately here for WSOL, they were able to get it all the way up to 99. It looks like it's a repeat of what was happening here on Lijiang Tower, where they had a really, really close initial fight.
Yeah, it looks like that victory really has to sting for WSOL, and they had it at 99, almost had the fight, and then a little bit of team miscommunication opened up an entire fight because Luna actually got hooked by Thick Daddy there. And because of that, they went into a fight without their main healer and just weren't able to get back into position to retake the point when they pretty much had it had they played a little bit safer there.
And now we go into Sanctum here, and this is going to be the playground of the pulled pork here, as it looks like Delicious and Thick Daddy are ready on this side. We see a dive defense here coming out, dive offense here coming up from WSOL, so it looks like they're going to be being a little bit more aggressive and try to prevent this from going, but Audit Can't immediately gets deleted, and Salty Dog gets killed by Thick Daddy. This defense is not working here from We Stomp on LAN. Technician gets demeched and deleted here, as it looks like the We Stomp on LAN are going to have to sort of fall back. Luna and Sensik here are going to have to fall back, and they're going to have to regroup as 6.
Sanctum in particular is a map where I think the way to go is there's a way to go for every team comp. Dive is really good if you pick your targets cleverly and are able to get into the back behind the Hog and everyone else, but to take advantage of that, sometimes you almost need a Lucio, which we haven't really seen a lot of tonight. In order to take down this Orisa barrier, though, I really feel like they're going to have to switch off Dive because they're just eating too much poke anytime they want to even try and enter.
Yeah, and then that's a perfect example as Technician gets deleted there. And now Salty Dog is able to get Loner, but a 4-for-1 trade is not what you're looking for if you're looking for a WSOL. And it looks like Sensik here is going to get sent back to spawn as Luna got deleted there right away. And this is not looking good at all. Thick Daddy's playing really, really high up. And now Salty Dog and Technician are coming right out of spawn, and a rally immediately gets popped here by Commander Hui. And they're just going to have a lot of health here in the doorway as they're going to be coming in. It looks like a high noon here popped by Loner is probably going to be more of a zoning ult than anything else, just to prevent them from coming in. He's not going to be able to sort of get anything, as it looks like MSXL hooks Technician again, but he's able to sort of zoom away here, and they put all of their eggs into this defense basket. Now Rydaris here coming in with the ult here into the back. Salty Dog and Rydaris immediately get deleted here as they pop ults waiting for it to come, but Technician and Sensik here are able to get Repinix and Loner, and now the fight's evened up. As a res comes in on Rydaris, now it looks like WSOL here have taken the advantage as they're able to start eliminating members here of MSXL. Commander Hui here on the point is able to sort of stall it out with Thick Daddy here. They're going to be able to sort of stall it out as long as they want. But no, Commander Hui got pushed off the point as Thick Daddy was hiding in the back to try to prevent. He's now probably going to have to reset with his team as WSOL still has life here on this map.
WSOL was really able to get in behind the stationary defense there. And that's one of the Orisa Hog's biggest weaknesses, especially when you're running the static comp, is to make sure that you take them from a way that they're not expecting. If you fall into the trap and keep attacking from the same direction, like they had a bit of trouble doing there for the first 80% or so, then you're pretty much always going to lose the fight. But once they're able to get a foot in and sort of play it how they wanted to, MSXL was able to really just take advantage of it, get the point, and push on through.
Well, they just lost Salty Dog there into the corner, and that is a huge loss. He ulted thinking that he was going to have a little bit of time here to be able to stall out. Thick Daddy got naded, but that's going to not be enough to sort of lose, to to give up this point here. Technician's the only person left. Looks like MSXL are going to take this point right back. Salty Dog is now back, but he can't do anything. He doesn't have the rest of his team with him. We're at 90% here. MSXL have just got to win this one last fight. They don't have all of their team members finally up. Looks like Thick Daddy's going to be guarding the door. He hooks Salty Dog here into the corner as he ults him into the ground here, into the back. They're not going to be able to make it back, and it is Microsoft Excelsior going to be your Owlet tournament champions.
That was a beautiful way to end it. They knew they had to touch. Microsoft XL knew that they really had to make sure WSOL was in position to touch. So Thick Daddy was looking for the Winston or the Genji, anyone that could get in, and found the Winston out of place and was able to hook him, take him down with the whole hog, and make sure that they didn't even have a chance to play the last fight on their own terms. And by doing that, they just ended it early.
Yeah, absolutely great play there by Thick Daddy. So fantastic plays there by MSXL. They take the series and the championship here 4-1 over Weed Stomp on LAN. Congratulations to them. They were our overall #1 seed with the best record here in Owlet. So fantastic play to them. And kudos also to WSOL. They had the second best record here in Owlet, get all the way to the finals here, and just run into a brick wall that is Microsoft Excelsior. And a little bit of history on Microsoft Excelsior. They're not made up of the same members, but this is, they are named after the team that did win the Scrub Cup also. So therefore, 2 titles under the banner of Microsoft Excelsior. So maybe forming a little bit of an organization here with titles left and right. And I know that they're in another tournament, a higher level tournament. Let's see if they can win another title here, Pulse.
It's always great to see teams continuing to play on with each other and grow as a group. That's really the best way to play Overwatch. And that's really why tournaments like Owlet and Scrub Cup and everything of the sort were formed. And like I said, it's just really the best way to play this game.
Yeah, and like this is just an excellent display of lower level Overwatch here from both of the teams. But as this is going to be the final game casted, I wanted to thank everybody in the chat with regards to casting here in Owlet. It has been a pleasure for me to actually cast this final for you. I was actually told that I was going to be casting the finals here before the playoffs started, and it was an honor to cast the finals here with Pulse here and watch this victory and to cast all through the seasons of Owlet. So thank you very much to everyone who participated in the Owlet tournament here. Thanks to Twitch chat. Thanks to everybody here. Pulse, any final thoughts here on this match?
I just wanted to let you know that I've been keeping an eye on Twitch chat since the last map ended, and we actually hit up to 109 viewers right now. So congratulations to Owlet for that. And I also just wanted to thank the entire community for letting me cast this game with Hodo. I started with him a couple weeks back. We've known each other for a while, but he needed a partner one week, so I joined in. And the response that I've heard from the community about our casting as a duo has just been wonderful to hear. And I really appreciate it from everyone in the community that's just accepted us this well.
Yeah. And I've got to send a special shout out here to Direboyd, who was our producer for this map. He's done a whole lot of work, folks, like behind the scenes, running the casters, making sure everything is okay. Send your love to him. He's done an excellent job. Also to Necra, who is our admin and our room host here with regards to this map. So absolutely fantastic here from the admin team. They run a hell of a show. Also to Bort and Ad also. But stay tuned, folks. The post-game wrap-up show for the tournament is going to be following up right after this. We will have the announcement of the all-star teams from Snowy and Strix. They will be coming up in the post-game wrap-up. We'll have some surprises here for you in that. But for Direboyd, for Pulse, and for myself, a heartedly thank you so much for watching us today. 109 viewers. That's the most I've ever casted to, and I hope this just keeps growing. But for everyone here on the Owlet admin team, thank you so much for joining us today. It is a victory and a championship title for Microsoft Excelsior. They win the series 4-1. And for everyone here, thank you so much. We will see you in the post-game wrap-up. Thanks a lot.